in the Merlin, it being a sit-out boat, it requires, once we're sitting out, that this windward shroud, if we're on port tack as we would be now, is always going to be tighter than the leeward shroud. So that's a significant factor as compared to most other boats which have either a single trapeze or twin trapeze. So when we're considering the Merlin, and that's what we're talking about today, we're talking about a windward shroud dominated rig. So what happens with the spreaders is going to be controlled by this windward shroud far more than the leeward shroud. It's an inevitability of loadings. So what we're going to describe next is how you can turn the boat over with two of you in the dinghy part fairly easily. Because it's a wide boat and it's not the lightest of them all, it's a little bit difficult and people are reluctant to do it. I want you to feel as though you can turn the boat over when you've got the space, and you can check your spreader settings so that you get to learn what's the best spreader settings for your mast, your rig and your crew weight. And we're going to demonstrate that now. How do you turn the boat over in the dinghy park safely? Now, we love our boats, so we don't want to damage them. That's the key factor here. So what we do is we're going to get the undercover and the bottom cover, if you're lucky enough to have them, or a similar sort of padding. We're going to concentrate on having it between here and here on the ground. So I'm just going to show what we would do. We just put that there and this one, and then we're going to add a soft ratchet strap. So Dave, if you were to hook this up this side, yep, on the trolley there, okay? Yep. Okay. Right, now the key with the strap is to get it so it goes behind the main sheet loop, which is a common fitment in nearly every Merlin. And then I'll go down onto the trolley in the same position here. You okay there? You happy with that? Okay, with that nice and firm, the trolley now is firmly attached to the bottom of the boat. And we're going to use the trolley to aid us to turn it over. Right, now we'll keep an eye on the padding. If you come here with me, Dave. Yeah. Right, just give it a pull over. Yeah. Right, now move the padding out. Yeah. Just keep it under the gunnel. That's it. Right. There we go. Right, now we're in a situation where we can easily check the spreader deflections. We've got basic settings that we all understand these days. We're not setting this up from nowhere. We'll measure between the tips of the two spreaders here, and we're on, looking at the two there, we're on 680. 680. Yeah. Okay, so that's from outside to outside. It's actually 684, I would say, to be precise. All right. I'll record that. So that tells us the distance it's pushing the shrouds, not the distance it's pushing the shrouds out, but it gives us a guide of where we are at this moment in time. And then the next measurement will be taken this direction, which is to tell us what the distance is from there. I'm going to put it this side so we can see it more clearly. Right. So, yeah, what's important with this is to make sure that the spreaders is backlash in every adjustable system. Because we have rig tension on, what's happened is it's actually taken some of it out, but there's still some in there. Look, do you see that? Oh, yeah. Now, that's going to be the spreader setting when we're sailing, and that would be what we measure here. Now, that's no good. We have to make sure that that is what we were going to measure, because that's the real measurement. So, if you're able to pull that so it's tight, that's good. How's that? Yeah, lovely. That's taken the backlash out, and now we can measure the distance from the track to this edge here, which is 145. What we're looking at now is the direction of that measurement is that way. So what we're talking about is moving the spreader, or the wire in fact, in that plane. When we're talking about the dimension we checked here, that 145 here, that one, we're talking about moving the wire in that direction. When we're talking about the width apart, we're doing the opposite. We're talking about it moving out rather than forward and back. So that's how we must always imagine the spreaders moving in and out or forward and back in that square format that we're looking at in this corner. So if we adjust the spreaders by making them longer, you all right there? The breeze is amazingly influential, isn't it? Yeah. If we were to release the spreader adjusters here and increase that length, because of the angle, it would also increase the length fore and aft here. Now we will be moving two things when we think we're only moving this out. It's very important that we remember that. So when we make a change, we must only move in one direction and record the direction. So by moving it from the 685 that he's currently got here, just say he wanted to go to 700 or 720, and he moved that out to 720. What's going to happen, it's going to then make this dimension larger, because as it goes out, it comes aft a little, it'll do that. Then he would have to return this dimension back to the 145 so that he's got an accurate log of what's really changed on the spreader setting. So he's still going to maintain his 145 here and change the width only, should that be what you want to do. If you want to change the fore and aft dimension, this one, you would then have to adjust the in and out to make sure that you don't affect that. That enables you to understand exactly what you're doing when you adjust the spreader and quantify how it makes a difference to your performance.